All right. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. Just making sure my little levels and things are working. Well, welcome, guys, to today's art business webinar. My name is Patrick. I run the marketing department here, and you're probably wondering, okay, what is this webinar all about? What are we going to be talking about? What's going on here? And, we love running these video sessions because somehow you guys have been drawn into the art storefronts ecosystem, and you've got questions like, who are these people? Do they know anything about selling art and photography? How could they potentially help my business? What advice might they have for me to actually grow my business, keep it growing year after year after year? So we run these video sessions as a way to kind of get to know us, to get your questions answered, and to kind of give you an insight into how we think artists and photographers should be growing their business, what's important, what you need to focus on, what you can completely ignore. Now, I've got the marathon background today because whether or not you guys all know it, you just started one of those. Because Q4 is just that. The fourth quarter, the last 3 months of the year, is a marathon if you're taking it seriously. And why is it a marathon? There are a number of big selling opportunities that emerge as a result of Q4. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the holiday buying season, but really just the last 3 months of the year are when more art and more photography is sold than at any other time all year long. And one of the things that we do is we constantly are water skiing behind when big companies have big sales, because when those times happen, you know, um, every merchant, everybody selling anything can benefit from the frantic, oh my gosh, there's deals in the water moment. And for instance, last week Amazon Prime ran Prime Day, right? And you hear that and you're like, yeah, so what? So the vast majority of Americans are Amazon members. Amazon spends a ton of money advertising that particular sales event. It's gone from 1 day 5 years ago to 2 days. Now they run it 2 times per year. And we had all of our customers run a sale. And last week we broke our individual record for individual transactions that took place in a week, right? And against the backdrop of the Israel-Palestinian conflict, and the news, and just the crazy world that we live in. So very, very exciting, and all of those types of results are available for all of you guys. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter if you sign up for art storefronts or not. I want every single solitary one of you understanding just how important these next 3 months are until we close out the year. Number one time to be selling art, to be selling photography, to do some marketing, to let people know that you exist, and to get a sale in the water. Okay, and you do not want to miss it, because once it's gone, it's gone. So I've got a video that I recorded on this thing a couple of weeks ago that does a very good job at explaining how we like to think about Q4, what you need to focus on, how you need to get ready and such. So I'm going to play that. After that's done, I'll open it right up for Q&A. As the video is rolling along, if you guys have questions, or you saw something and like, hey, was there a link for that, any of those sorts of things, if you click on the bottom of your Zoom window, there's this little like speech bubble thing. They're constantly moving the buttons around on this thing. Very, very lame. It's chat. It's like this little speech bubble. Anyway, it throws out a box where you can chat. You can ask questions. I can see those. I can answer those. In addition, with me today is Art Storefront's customer, Andrea Cross. You can see she's in there. So if you've got questions, she can answer them. I can answer them. So there's that opportunity. And then as soon as it's over, we are going to get right into the Q&A, and you can ask anything about anything. And we're running an absolutely crazy, insane deal this week, and so I will tell you about that, which I'm excited to talk about. But I'm going to go ahead and get our video fired up, get that going, and then I will see you guys for the Q&A right afterwards. I'm excited. All right, off we got your time. We have a little bit over 10,000 customers at Art Storefronts. I get to see all their data, not only on who's selling what prices, this, that, and the other, but also like where did their traffic come from that actually led to these sales. What I've come to realize in all of that is there's only three viable ways to make it today as an artist, photographer who wants to sell their creations. Only three. And let's talk about the three. And to give it some teeth, let's just say a successful art business. I know everyone's definition of that is a little bit different, right? But for the sake of argument, let's just say a successful art business is an art business in which you have gross sales of $100,000 a year, right? Sounds like a lofty number, fine, but let's just say that. So, okay, there's only three ways to get there. Number one way, the way that everyone on this call would prefer to do: get into a gallery where all you have to do is create and they do everything else. That sounds awesome, right? Okay, let's work those numbers through. You're in a gallery, and you're doing $100,000 a year in gross sales. The gallery takes 50%. So that means at the end of the day, you get $50,000 back. And because it's gross sales, then you have to subtract your studio, your materials, your trips, your tripods, your lenses, all of that, and maybe you're left with $35,000. Hardly a living wage. Let's make that picture a little bit rosier. And by the way, the number of artists that are in that situation that are selling $100,000 a year in a gallery is probably less than 1 or 2% of the total artists and photographers that are out there trying to sell their art and photography. Let's make that picture a little bit rosier, and let's say $300,000. Okay, let's triple it in gross sales a year in a gallery. And with the aforementioned 50% haircut, 150, okay, you're making 100 grand a year. That's fantastic. That's less than 1%, probably less than 0.2% of artists and photographers out there. So in terms of like a viable path forward, the way that I like to explain making it in a gallery is to have that level of success that way as an artist or photographer is kind of like playing a sport versus being a professional athlete. How many people do you know play a sport? How many professional athletes do you know, right? Like the odds are just not fantastic. And the real death knell to the gallery model is you guys are all going to be artists and photographers for the rest of your life. I routinely get people on these calls in their 90s still trying to sell their art, which is amazing. And you realize it's the long game. Wherever you are, you have a ton of time left, right, to do this, God willing, of course. If you don't know who's purchasing your art and you can't market to them for the rest of your life, you don't have the ability to develop collectors. Collectors are folks that will come back and keep buying from you again and again and again, year after year after year. And it's the lifeblood of any art business. In the gallery model, you don't know because the gallery doesn't tell you who purchases. It's important to state that, important to understand that. All right, let's table the gallery model for a sec. Next is to become a road warrior. A road warrior is someone that does anywhere from 25 to 45 shows a year. The fairs, the shows, the farmers markets, the thises, the that's, and you are loading that car up, setting up the booth. Sometimes it's a dud, sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's inclement weather. You're away from your family, you're 8 hours a day on your feet. It is not easy, it's hard. That being said, totally viable path to get there. If I was an artist myself and I was like looking back at my life and I wanted to give my like 20-year-old self some advice, okay, Emma, talking to you, you're the young one here, it would be like, don't have a wife, don't have a significant other, don't have kids, don't have a mortgage. And if you have any of those things, it's just a generalization. You're the young one and I'm looking at you. So go and do that when you're young. Because if you can do that when you're young, when you don't have the aforementioned significant other and kids and soccer games on Saturdays and a mortgage, that's when you're the freest to be able to do that. And it's totally a viable path. Like I've got multiple customers that are in their 50s and 60s that did it for years and years and years. One guy I think of, this guy Bill Stidham, 175,000 miles on his van in 6 years that he just used for his art shows. I mean, he hit it hard. You know what that guy has now? Healthy 6-figure a year business, and he barely does any shows anymore because he built up the list, he built up a customer base, he built up collectors. The third way, okay, is what everybody really truly has to do. It's what you want to do, which is, I know I'm not going to get into a gallery. I know I'm not doing the show and fair circuit. That's just too much. I can't be that road warrior. So I want to sell direct. I want to understand who's purchasing my work. And it's totally a viable path. It's what we advocate. Here's the rub, though. You have to market your own art. You have to market your own art. There is no one that is going to market it for you. And for some people, that is a painful thing to hear. For most artists and photographers, it's a painful thing to hear, but it's true. Anyone that's been in this business for any period of time knows that you guys are all sold a bill of goods that somehow an artist or a photographer's vocation is just to create this amazing thing and everything else just happens, and nothing could be further from the truth. You have to get good and understand that marketing yourself is just as important a job as creating what you create. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the way better your life becomes. Why? Because there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do it. Not even close. I mean, for those of us that are older and remember the days before these things existed and before social networks with hundreds of millions of people worldwide were on their phones all day long, do you know how hard it was? Do you know how much harder it was? You were geographically fixed on the planet somewhere, and that's where you started, and that's what you had. You had to grind way harder. Now, if you take your marketing vocation seriously, if you're like, I'm going to get good at this, if you realize that your art business is essentially 2 trains on 2 tracks. Train number 1, your art, your craft, your creations, your subject matter material, your brush, your lens, how good you get with all of that. That train has its own path, and it will go throughout the rest of your career. You want to get better at it. You want to make sure that train has no brakes. The other one is how good you get at marketing yourself. And you need to treat it seriously, and you need to turn it into an art form. And if you understand those two things, that is the path that artists and photographers get on, will become successful, will have a business that is growing year after year after year. And I really firmly do believe there's never been a better time in the history of the world to do that. But it's actually simple. Simple, not easy. Not easy in the fact that you guys have to get good at marketing. Not good that you have to take it seriously. Not good that you have to learn how to do this. And nobody likes doing it. I totally get that, okay? I mean, I run the marketing department here. Truth be told, I don't even like doing it, okay? Posting on socials on a regular basis, content marketing, right? Running sales, all the things that you have to do. But I don't know what the alternative is. I don't know what the alternative is. Because of all the tens of thousands of artists and photographers that have come through these Zoom sessions in the last 3 years, there are maybe one or two that were doing great in the gallery. And I saw specifically, like right when COVID hit and all those gallery people got closed up, those people were flooding into these Zooms going, what do I do? I've got nothing. My income's done, right? It was terrifying. The road warriors are the road warriors. And then there's nothing else. You know, there's nothing else. Like I've had like 6 people tell me they make more $10,000 a year on Saatchi, Fine Art America, Redbubble. I've had a couple of people on Etsy that are doing like $20,000 or $30,000 a year, but I haven't heard anyone else. So when you realize those odds, and please don't take it cynically, like this is only going to happen for you if you sign up at Art Storefronts. I don't care where you sign up or what you do, but I do care that if you want to take this business seriously and you want to see it growing year after year, it's the 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. 2 trains, 2 tracks, no brakes. Okay. Now that rant is over with, I call this thing a Q Thorpe boot camp, and I love the marathon analogy, all right? I hate running. I will never sign up for a marathon in my life. But I know some people that have, and there's one thing that you notice about those people that sign up for the marathon. As soon as you fill out that form for that miserable activity, your whole life changes. Why? You know the pain is coming. You start eating a little bit better. You start training and taking your exercising more seriously. You start getting better sleep. If it's me, you work on that drinking habit that you have, right? All of these things in your life, you start taking more seriously. And my contention, having been in this business for close to 10 years now, and having seen what goes on in Q4 the last 3 months of the year, it's a marathon that you're signed up for, whether you know it or not. And the training that you do between now and then, between the fourth quarter, the buying season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the roll up to Christmas, all of those sales that are in the water, all throughout that. More art, more photography is sold in the fourth quarter than the other 3 quarters combined almost sometimes. Like our customers that do it well have a good year based on what that fourth quarter is. And so my contention is that you're signed up for that marathon whether you know it or not. And the question is, what are you going to start doing between now and then? What are you going to start doing between now and then to get ready? Because if it's wait until things start getting colder, kids are back at school, you're running around like a crazy person, next thing you know, it's Thanksgiving. Oh, I got to have a sale. And then you post something on Facebook and send an email to 6 people. Not going to be good. Not going to be good, right? So we need to start training now, right? We need to start getting our businesses in order now. And there's a number of different ways that you can approach that and that you can contemplate it. But step 1 in all of it is have it in the back of your head. It's coming. What you do between now and then is going to dictate the level of success that you have, and it is the most important time of the year to be selling. Without question, not even close. And you have to have your art up on the website. You have to start working on an email list. You have to start marketing regularly and consistently on the social media platforms. If you do that now, you're gonna wake up come October and you're gonna be like, oh, got a little momentum in my back. Things actually look pretty good here. People actually know who I am, and I have the ability to market and run some sales when Black Friday and Cyber Monday comes along. So very, very important to understand that happens every single solitary year. Every year it is absolutely fantastic in terms of sales, in terms of art and photography. So all very, very important. Pricing is another big one. And pricing is one of my favorite topics in this business period, right? And do you know what I love more than anything else? All the bullshit advice that's out there based on pricing. Here's the formula that you use for pricing. It's material cost times square inch times media times your time. Yeah, okay, great. Thanks for that. Magic, really. The only thing that matters is whether or not the art sells. There is no magical formula that's going to help you price your art if the art doesn't sell, which is why all of those formulas are nonsense. Pricing is quite simply this. And it's awesome and it's freeing. And once you do it and once you realize this lesson, and I have like a really in-depth article on this and I'm going to send it to all of you, you, creative types, need to have prices from 0 to 100. You need to have prices from 100 to 1,000. You need to have prices over 1,000. And you need to have one thing in the shop that is obscenely expensive. Okay? Now let me break that all down with some real numbers. The 0 to 100 is really, really easy, especially if you're reproducing your artwork in terms of prints. But you also have to have non-wall art as a part of your lineup. Okay? It can't just be wall art. And the reason is that not everybody is ready to buy wall art all the time. And so you're out there, you're doing your marketing, you're getting your art, your photography in front of people, and they're like, wow, I really like this person. I really like their creativity. Problem, I'm not in the market for art right now. I want to reward this person for their talent, but I'm not in the market for art right now. If only they had something that was non-wall art related. Oh, they don't. Tell you what, I'll make a mental note to come back here. I'm going to go watch some cat videos, and you know what the masks do there, right? They're not coming back. They're never coming back. So the importance of having the non-wall art is so critical. No one talks about this enough. A business, specifically your guys' businesses, can be judged how well they are growing on one metric and one metric alone: the number of new customers you are acquiring per year. The number of new customers you are acquiring per year. Why? Why? Because the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. It is significantly easier to get somebody to come back and purchase a second time than it is to go out and find a new person and have them purchase for the first time. And this is just a fundamental rule of most businesses, but specifically this business. And I alluded earlier to how important it is to not sell in galleries so that you know who is purchasing your work. There is a phenomenon in here. I stole it from this guy, so I always give him credit. Hold on, I'm going to grab his book. I stole this from Weiland, okay? Weiland is the whale guy. Most would say the best-selling artist in the United States. By the way, this book, fire, okay? Insane, amazing. You need to go buy it. Honestly, I should be on commission for this. In fact, he's got a gallery close to where I live. I'm going to go in there and get it. Short, sweet, no fluff. Sorry, here it is. But the rub is it's not on Amazon. I think he donates 100% of the proceeds to charity, so you have to buy it from his website. But honestly, Google this book and buy this book. Weiland defines a collector as someone that will purchase in upwards of 7+ pieces of art from him over the course of a lifetime. And this is a phenomenon I see played out continually with my own customer base. But when you have collectors, it's a phenomenon of this business, right? Like there's certain product categories that have collectors, right? If you ask my 7-year-old kid, it's those damn Pokemon cards. They're all over my floor right now. You guys would laugh if you saw these. But shoes, cars, wristwatches, art is one of them. And it's a fantastic thing because you will keep creating throughout the course of your life. And these collectors will just go along for the ride. You keep raising prices, they keep coming and buying and buying and buying. Oh, that's awesome. Emma just said that book is on Spotify for free. I did not know that. Definitely listen to it. You'll want to highlight it, though. I'm not kidding. Great book. Where was I going with all that? So if we know the most important thing an art business can have as a collector, and then we know in order for a collector to become a collector, they first have to purchase something, that underscores how important it is to have non-wall art as a part of the lineup, okay? That's the 0 to 100 range. Also in there, you obviously have small prints. And then let's say you're 100 to 1,000, you get into some bigger size prints, right? Your metals, your canvas, your acrylic, you go through that 0 to 1,000 range, and maybe close to the 1,000 range, you're in limited editions, and then above that, you have your originals. Everyone has to adjust it a little bit to taste. But you also need something obscenely expensive in the store. And let's say that you sell your originals, just to keep the math simple, at like $1,000. I want one in there for 10 grand. And why? Why? Why one in there for 10 grand? That's crazy. I'm never going to sell that thing. I don't even care if you don't ever sell that thing. You ever been to a car dealership? And you know in the car dealership, that the big glass box in the middle, I know the car dealership is a miserable feeling in most people's heads because you have to deal with the salespeople. But anyway, the big glass box in the middle, right? Let's say we're at the Toyota dealership. In that big glass box in the middle is the Toyota Supra carbon fiber TRD whatever. It's $275,000, right? There's a reason that they put those cars inside the glass box, and it's because human beings are wired to make purchase decisions based on comparison. we anchor onto certain things to compare to other certain things. And so when we go and look at that $250,000 Supra or the $150,000 Land Cruiser that's inside the glass box, we anchor onto that price point, and it makes us feel just that much better about buying the $60,000 Highlander, right? That's on the outside. And that's a phenomenon called price anchoring. And it's just one of these psychological things that's really, really, really important to do. You feel better knowing that I didn't buy the most expensive thing. It makes you feel a little bit better. That's why you put that high-priced item in there. Also, everyone's followers, yours, mine, any business, that all fall into a thing that I call the socioeconomic bell curve, okay? It's your typical bell curve, exactly what you'd expect. And down at the low end of it, you have the low socioeconomic status. Those people can't afford anything. They'll like, comment, share on your post. They're still good people. Then you have lower income folks, middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals, the bell curve, right? You know, what does everyone always say to me all the time? Yeah, I just want to target high net worth buyers. Yeah, good. That's great. You and every other business on the planet, aside from the 99-cent store, wants to target the high net worth buyers, okay? That is why it's insanely difficult to do that. But the point is, you need to have this range of pricing that I'm discussing to be able to cover all of the spots on that bell curve. Because what happens when you do that is you acquire the highest number of customers possible. And the beautiful thing about acquiring the highest number of customers possible is you can market to these folks in the future. The bell curve is not a fixed entity. Your buyers and potential buyers are going up and down that bell curve their entire lives. The one that's living in their mother's basement right now is buying their new house 2 years from now. And you got that sale. Do you want to know why you got that sale? Because you sold them a mug or a mouse pad or a calendar or a whatever, and it sat on their fridge. It could be a sticker, okay, that's on my garage fridge with all the rest of the stickers. And every time I go out to get a beer, which is an enjoyable experience for me, I look at your art, okay? Now I've moved out of my mother's basement, and I'm going to go buy a house, and you got that sale. And that's how it works. And I get a lot of pushback on the merch, okay? I'm a fine artist, Patrick. I would never sell that merch, that cheap tchotchke crap. I'm not doing that. To which I respond, let me know the last time any of you went to a museum that didn't have a gift shop. I'll wait, okay? If Van Gogh's Starry Night is on the wall, and you can also buy a Starry Night poster in the gift shop for $22 plus tax, I'm pretty sure Van Gogh's not losing any sleep over it. Technically, he's really asleep. He's dead. But you get the point, okay? You get the point. You ever been to a concert that hasn't had merch? I don't think so, okay? The Rolling Stones, take your pick, okay? Merch is very, very important in the simple lens that you acquire more customers as a result of it. So having that price range is huge. What is one of the most defeating things that happens to artists and photographers out there? You worked hours on a piece. I mean, hours. It took so much time. You're going to sell this thing for $800, and what happens? Someone's like, yeah, that's beautiful. Would you take $25 for it? Oh, you're just deflated, right? Like this person is just, I mean, it's like a troll on social media. I mean, they have just ruined your entire day. The beautiful thing is, when you have the range of pricing, it doesn't happen as much. It almost doesn't happen at all. Because people understand, they have a context of where things are in your lineup. Oh, this is $100 and under. Oh, this is $100 to $1,000. Oh, this is over $1,000. Oh, that's the $5,000 piece. And what's more, when you get those folks who don't know any better, okay, most of them are not bad people. They just don't know any better. You can be like, oh, that's fantastic. I love that you have the interest. That one costs quite a bit more, but let me show you what is in your range. And then we gently guide them to where we are in our range. Do you know how much better that is for your self-esteem? Okay, let me tell you, significantly better. It is significantly better for your self-esteem. You are going to be a happier and better functioning member of society, okay? Your significant other is like, this is awesome. Why are you in such a good mood? It's because you have the range of pricing. Very, very important. That's pricing. I'm going to send you a follow-up article on it after this whole thing's over. In addition to the pricing, the next thing I want to talk about is Instagram. Most important social network for artists and photographers. It's not even close. Secondarily, it's Facebook. Okay, have to be working on both of them. Well, Patrick, what about TikTok, or what about Pinterest, or what about SEO? Yeah, what about shiny objects that are not going to move your business anywhere and are going to put you on the road to a hobby? All right, that's what all the rest are. I don't care what anyone else says, anyone's friends, anyone. No one is selling art on any of the rest of those things, okay? They are lying to you if they're saying they are. It's nonsense. I've looked at way too much data. Aside from onesies, twosies here with weird circumstances, the two most important places that you need to be are Instagram and secondarily Facebook. And thank God for that. Okay, don't talk to me about TikTok. I will kick you right out of this Zoom. You are lying to yourself, okay? Stupid Chinese app, communist app that is just trying to flood you with an endorphin hit. You got 10,000 views. You didn't get 10,000 views. You got 100 views from people that are never going to buy your work, okay? So when we stay focused on the only two platforms that matter, to the detriment of wasting time on any of the rest of those ones, I don't care. Just stay out of there. Stay in my lane. Facebook and Instagram and Facebook. You will end up winning. And why is Instagram the most important? What do you guys create? You create visual creations. What is Instagram? A giant visual search engine. Imagine that. Lines up pretty nicely, right? The beautiful thing is that Instagram has become, over the years, evolved into the credit check for artists and photographers. What do I mean by that? I'm going to buy something. I saw something. My neighbor had something. It's really important for me to keep up with the Jones. I'm going to go look at what he got, and what am I doing? I'm going instantaneously to Amazon. I'm going to read the reviews. Was that thing good? Is there a better one? Maybe there's a better one. Maybe I can one-up this guy because I got to keep up with the Jones. Now, we check Amazon is a way of getting credit checks, like getting the reviews of what something is, right? So you could say Consumer Reports or some of the other sites too. For artists and photographers, it's like, hey, I just saw this. I'm at your friend's house. You sold some art to your friend. I saw that. That's a great piece. Who did that? Oh, yeah, it's my buddy. It's my cousin, Mark McClanahan over there. And you should check him out. You know what they're going to do? They're going to pull out Instagram, and they're going to look for you, and they're going to look at your profile, and are they going to say, is this an artist that's doing anything? Is this an artist that's putting out content regularly? Are they on the up and up? Do they have 2 followers or 2,000 followers, right? And it's very, very important to understand, one, that Instagram offers a credit check, okay? So fundamentally, it's important just for that matter. 2, secondarily, and I should also say, like, you know, the data in this industry is so utterly, totally, completely opaque, right? Like, there's so much nonsense out there, it's mind-boggling. But there's 2 outfits that report on the super high end of the art market. One's the Hiscox Group, it's an insurance entity out of London, and the other is Art Basel teams up with UBS Payne Weber, I think. I think that's who it is. The 2 of them put out a report, and what they do is they survey every year all of the folks that are essentially buying $100,000 pieces and up. And every single solitary year, I've watched the results of those reports when it comes out, and every year it ticks up. Did you follow and or consume content from an artist on Instagram? Was Instagram influential in your buying decision? And in both cases, both of their surveys, like, those percentages are really pretty high. So it's significant in its ability to help you guys sell art. The top-end, high-end buyers are all there, okay? So that makes it very important as well. The beautiful thing about Instagram is you can reach a ton of buyers. The terrible thing about Instagram is you have to post frequently on it for years to really make a huge dent. So, yeah, 1, you got to get started. 2, you have to understand you're going to suffer in the short term because it's not easy, and you have to learn how to do it, and you have to learn how to enjoy it and get good at it. And we can talk about that in depth. I have a ton of teaching on Instagram. But the beautiful thing that exists currently on Instagram, and I love this. Okay, we're going to do a little social media history lesson. But Facebook emerged. Facebook pretty much became a monopoly. Okay, power was unchecked. Then a new rising competitor came along, and Facebook is like, uh-oh, we can't have any competition. It was Instagram. We're going to go buy those folks. So they bought them. Okay, great. Now Facebook's even more powerful. It's Facebook and Instagram. I'm streaming on their platform when I'm saying this, so I get banned. You guys will know why. Zuckerberg kicks my door, and you'll know why. So now they own these 2 platforms. So the playbook was, we are a monopoly. If any competitors come along, we're just going to buy them. Okay. Snapchat emerges. Snapchat starts taking all of these young kids away from Facebook and Instagram. They're like, all right, what does the playbook say to do in this situation? Let me see the playbook. Mark, it says if we have a competitor, go and buy them. All right, somebody go and buy Snapchat. So they go and try and buy Snapchat. Snapchat says pound sand. Mark's like, okay, what does the playbook say now? We don't know. He goes, all right, we're just going to copy them verbatim. And so Snapchat had these things called stories that disappeared after 24 hours, and Facebook copied them verbatim. So, okay, now Snapchat peters out. I mean, who's using that? I don't know, some kids, whatever. it's on it's whatever. I don't want to talk about it. The next one came along. This time it was TikTok. And Mark Zuckerberg went right back to the playbook. He's like, okay, this is awesome. TikTok is starting to steal a bunch of our users. It's competition. What should I do? Let's go try and buy them. He goes and tries and buy them again. They tell him no. He said, my wife is Chinese. Let me buy you. They still said no. So the next thing they do is they're like, okay, what is the playbook saying next? Copy them verbatim. And so that's what they did. And by the way, the other social players were watching, and now YouTube watched, and they're like, okay, let's copy them verbatim. So what did TikTok have? These short form little videos that were 120 seconds or less and were very compelling cell phone style video size. They copied that feature verbatim and called it Instagram Reels. YouTube saw that, copied that feature verbatim, called it YouTube Shorts. I could cycle through the 3 views of those 3 different products, and you could almost not tell the difference. They even put the buttons in the same place as copycats. Anyway, why it was a brilliant thing, TikTok coming along, is it destroyed what has been up to that point in time the social contract. What is a social contract? What do I mean by that? Hey, art storefronts, work really hard on my platforms, Facebook and Instagram, and post a bunch of content. When you do, people will follow you and become fans. After you earn those followers and those fans, some small portion of what you create will be shown to those followers and fans for free. Early on in the days, it was like 90%. Recently, it's like 2 to 5%. Tiny, almost nothing, right? So that is what the social contract was. TikTok, God bless him, despite the fact that don't like the platform and think it's evil, has been still siphoning off users from Instagram at an alarming rate. It's all the younger kids and the people that are chasing likes that are not real and chasing views that are not real. It's a worthless platform. Anyway, so what they've done is they've torn up the social contract. So now where we are is we're in a scenario where you can get onto Instagram and you can have 2 followers, your significant other and your mother, okay? She likes and comments on everything. God bless you. Thank you, Mom. You can create content in the form of an Instagram Reel. And an Instagram Reel can potentially, if it's good, be seen by hundreds, by thousands, by even millions. In which case, you organically marketing without leaving your house, showing off your creations, understanding the platform, can get free reach. It used to be you didn't get that. And it used to be you had to pay a ton of money in terms of Facebook and Instagram ads to get that attention. Now you can do that without leaving your house, and that's an incredible, incredible thing. So it represents a huge, huge opportunity. And so that's where we stand right now as it sits in 2023. I believe Instagram is the most amazing platform that exists that can bring you guys buyers, bring you guys fans, bring you guys email addresses, and yes, sell your art with photography, but you have to get good at marketing it. You have to understand how to post. You have to work on your posting frequency, and you have to learn to love it. Yeah. Which, of course, is a little bit of a problem, right? Because none of you like marketing consistently. None of you want to market consistently. You know, you've never marketed consistently your entire life. One of the one of the things that I realized, quick rant, and then we'll get into the Q&A, is the number one limiting factor, okay, that prevents in an art and photography business from getting to where it could go, let's say, is this restaurant analogy. And, you know, we've been at this now for like, we're coming up on 10 years, I think, sometime next year. And we have a little bit over 11,000 customers, right? So you guys are all chefs, and you all want to have a big, successful restaurant, a restaurant that's growing, right? That people love eating at. They're coming out again and again. The problem in that is that if you're the chef, if we're going to go all in on your superpower, you should be in the kitchen making the meals and ordering the proteins and ordering the vegetables and getting that whole operation back there rolling, right? And here's the problem. All of you guys are doing that, and then you're also the receptionist and answering the phone. You're also the maitre d', seating people at their chairs. You're the waiter. You're the sommelier. You're the bartender. You're the busboy, and you're doing the dishes after the fact, right? You guys are solopreneurs, and you have to wear all of those hats. It's so like a huge part of what our business is and has been and is currently is trying to take some of those jobs away from you guys so you can go all in on your superpower. That is one of the biggest limiting factors, because if you're wearing all of those hats, your restaurant's only ever going to have 1 or 2 tables. You couldn't physically do all of that extra work, right? So as you look at the evolution that we've had as a company, we started out just given the website, right? And we had the best art selling website, still do, on the planet. We've been building this thing for 10 years. We're really, really good at it. It's not enough, but it at least takes care of the receptionist, right? So we've knocked out that job with the website. And the website obviously transacts commerce, right? It runs 24/7, does all the things the website needs to do. Okay, great. Next, we don't let you build the website. We now completely build the website for you. You want to know why? Because you don't need to be a web programmer. You don't need to speak GoDaddy, CSS, HTML, JavaScript, or any of the rest of that nonsense, because that is a waste of your time and not something an artist needs to be confident about. Then we said, okay, now that we're building it, let's go even one step further. And this is actually the deal that we're running this week, which is kind of crazy, which is you don't ever have to maintain it or update it ever again. If you need changes, you let us know. We update it for you for life. It's done. Your website, web programming days, doing any of it, building anything is just gone. We take care of all of it. It's so you can over-index on being the restaurant, being the chef in the restaurant and cooking, right? The next phase is the POD. And POD is just amazing, right? POD stands for print on demand. And it applies now for art and all the media types as well as merchandise. And what it essentially means is there are no minimums. You don't have to keep any inventory. Doesn't matter if you get one order, if you get 1,000 orders. The orders get the money comes in, you get paid, printer gets paid, printer prints the goods, boxes them up, slaps your logo on them, and ships it out. You don't have to lift a finger, right? So now you've knocked out the receptionist, the maitre d', and the waiter, right? The rest of the jobs, admittedly, are the marketing, right? Which every single solitary person on this call has a problem with. It is their number one struggle, and it's not going away. So that's what we spend all the rest of our time working on diligently, week in, week out. We are part website technology company, but really we're a graduate university that teaches art, photography, business, and marketing all year long, and that's what we do. So that's my rant. I'm sticking to it. We can get into Q&A. How does that work? If you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on and you have a question, all you have to do is raise your hand, old school style. I'll see that. I can bring you on. For everyone else, if you look at the bottom of your Zoom window, there's this little smiley face thing and it says reactions. If you click that, there's a way that you can raise your hand, digitally speaking. That lets me know you have a question. I can unmute you, bring you on, and you can literally ask any question about anything, and we can take it from there. So it usually just takes one brave person to be the first question asker, and then all the rest of them come in. So who is my brave person today? I need one of you. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about, Karina. Thank you. All right, Karina's up first. Go ahead, Karina.
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Awesome. So back to your social media page. What
Yes.
I am concerned about is my safety. So I was wondering if you could still do social media without having to reveal who you truly are. I just want my work to show through.
Yeah. So it's less. I mean, I assume. Well, let me put it this way. The answer to the question is yes or no, right? Like the prevailing wisdom is no, you cannot. And I can rant on that for a second. But at the same time, I could say Banksy. No one knows who Banksy is, right? The problem is there's only like one or two Banksies, right? So it's very, very difficult to make it that way. And what no one seems to understand, no one ever talks about, this is just, I wouldn't have talked about it early on. I believe, okay, the world that we exist in right now, 2023, and it's probably always been this way in like a social media world. Art sales are 50-50, Karina. They are 50% the quality of the art, the caliber of the art. The other 50% is the artist, who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you interesting. Are you a dog person? Are you a cat person? Do you like gardening? Do you like to work out? Are you a foodie? Like, what are some things that you have that make you interesting, that give you that creative eye that I'm also interested in, that might get me more bonded to you, and that I might purchase your work, right? So I would say it would be very, very difficult to do it without exposing that portion of your personality. And let me give it some teeth, because what I've come to find out is artists love hiding behind the canvas and photographers love hiding behind the lens, right? If I come to your Instagram page and all I see on your Instagram page is a big grid of two-dimensional images, just your art, 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 and I can't find anything out about you, I'm gone. You lost a huge opportunity. You lost a huge opportunity. As human beings, we like getting to know the artist. We like bonding with shared interest is the artist. Sometimes we like bonding over shared mutual suffering. Did you get out of bed this morning and step on your child's Lego and almost break your neck on the wall? I did. We both have kids and we're going through that suffering world, right? So these are the types of things that get people bonded to who you are. So I sort of feel like you would be going into a boxing match with one arm tied behind your back if you couldn't kind of reveal who you are. But is it genuinely about safety, like you fear for your safety, or is it like for whatever reason people can't know you're an artist?
Well, I'm just wanting to eliminate some of the possibilities, like going into a certain clique, saying, "Oh, don't support her because she's just a part of that clique."
Oh, don't worry
You
about
know,
that. To be honest with you,
yeah.
the clicks are actually extremely helpful. In all honesty, like take your pick about what it is, right? And it can be anything. It can be a religion. It can be a political view. It can be wanting to save dogs, right? Like all of those end up being personality characteristics and traits that people that also feel that way gets them crazy bonded to you, right? It ends up becoming a tribe of like loyal buyers, and so you almost want to lean into those things, right? Like it's a big deal. You'd be surprised, and I think if you're fearing for your genuine safety, if that really is what it is, then I can understand some of it. But if it's just I don't want, I'm nervous and I don't want to show myself, and I'm scared about all of that. You have to get over it. You have to be contrarian and get over it.
Being an introvert.
Yeah. Oh, you think you're the only one, Karina, on this call that's an introvert? Give me a break. That's about every face on here. But
Like what the first thing that you said when you said running a marathon, I said the only marathon I have ran is a TV series. I have not ran in my life.
oh, you're telling me I would never sign up for one of those miserable things. But you know what? You know what the reality is like someone said it recently, so succinctly. It's like for whatever reason we're like wired. Society has wired us into this like instant gratification world today, right? That because you're an artist and because you're talented and it's so good, you're due immediate results, right? And it's such a lie. It's what derails artists and photographers all the time. And let me know, any of you, if this sounds familiar, right? This is going to be my year. Okay. I'm going to finally take this art business seriously. I am going to start working diligently on my marketing. And then you work diligently on that marketing, and that goes well for a little period of time, and then you don't get the immediate results, and then you quit. Okay? Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That would be all good, okay? If we lived in a world where you're like, okay, I'm going to try this art thing. I gave it an honest shot. I worked on it for a year and a half, and it's just not going to work out for me. The problem is that I've come to discover is creatives like you guys don't turn it off. Okay. It doesn't just go away, this desire to create art and have the business. I mean, I routinely get people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. I haven't had anybody in the 90s in like probably like 6 months, but I've had like 20 people in their 90s coming on these Zoom sessions asking for advice, right? And it's the Hotel California line. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. You can decide to quit marketing for a little period of time, but you know what? You're going to come right back full circle again because you have this deep desire to create and you want there to be a business there. So you have to get over some of these things, and it gets easier. And it's also why we exist, because what do? We put all our customers in Zoom sessions like this every week, and we encourage them. We cajole them. Occasionally, I will yell at them. There's mild harassment. Sometimes I resort to bribery, whatever it takes to keep you moving forward, because it's the hardest thing. It is the hardest thing. But when you start picking up a little momentum, it gets easier. When you realize we are all normal human beings, we all have flaws. We're all deeply broken. None of us have professional hair and makeup. We're not all living in mansions. And guess what? No one cares because no one else is either. Right? Aside from some of your big collectors, and we want to reach them. But people appreciate you being real and you being who you are. And I've got people that are like such introverts. I'm talking like terrified of talking stutters, right? And you know what they do? They get over it and they start marketing and they're stuttering, and then everyone else that's ever been in that same situation gets so bonded to them they start selling art. So you got to get over it. Karina, I'm here to tell you, you got to get over it. And it's going to be painful, but you got to get over it.
I know. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. You know, everyone talks about like, I hate social media. You know, it's like I'm not telling people what I had for breakfast, right? Like this is so stupid and vapid and lame. But the reality is the world that we live in today. I mean, I think what this has ushered in, love it or hate it, represents the single solitary greatest time ever in the history of mankind to be an artist because of the sheer number of people that you can reach, right? We all used to be geographically limited into our little area. Now, with our outbound marketing, we can literally reach the entire world. And you have to get contrarian enough to say, we're all just fishermen, okay? And our job is to go down to the docks in the morning, get on the boat, and drive the boat to where the fish are. The fish are all here. Every one of your art buyers is using this thing every single solitary day. And you, by diligent, regular, and consistent marketing, have the ability to reach them. You got to make that call. Do you want to do it or not, right? Got to do it. All right, who else? Questions, comments, concerns? Yep, Julie, I got you. Go ahead, Julie. Julie was doing a real pensive hand raise there, Julie. Okay, that was a real half-hearted at the beginning. All right. Gotcha.
Is it working?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So here's my question.
Yes.
Since like absolutely like staying safe and all of that and in all relevance to social media,
Mhm.
I'm a social like an influencer on Facebook.
Mhm.
I have like at least 2,000 followers. And on Instagram, kind of. And for staying safe, you have to change your password constantly. It's like I'm changing it like every single day. So I think that's a good way of staying safe. As far as like selling your art through social media, that's I think where my complications go.
Yeah.
And that's what safety is, right? It's like, here's my art. This is, but you don't want to like tell people where you live.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sure in Karina's case, like she was talking about physical safety or you with the passwords, like digital security.
Oh, okay.
I think she was just, I'm introverted and I don't want to do it. Like, you know, but you have to be bold. You have to be bold. You got to get out there, right? You have to do it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And once you reach that point, you're like, okay, I don't feel safe anymore, but you have to reach that level.
Yeah.
And be like, cross that line.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, the
scary,
right?
I have to like jump over a bridge kind of thing.
Yeah. I looked this up recently. Someone was like,
yeah.
The question was like, I'm so terrified of my art being stolen. Right. So like, what do I need to do about like copywriting and everything else? And I responded, I was like, you know what? You can 100% prevent a shark attack by not ever getting in the water. But do you know what the odds of you getting a shark attack? 1 in 1.38 million. Okay. You got bigger problems to worry about. You got bigger problems to worry about than the copywriting. Get out there.
So like, it's like, just jump in and kind of like, you know,
you got
like,
it.
And that's the hardest part of it is, and hey, you're not gonna, you know, necessarily make a ton of money on your first print, but it's like just kind of going for it in that kind of way.
Exactly right. And you know, another great analogy for an art business.
You
know how we all go to college, and we go to college, and we pay. Yeah, some do. You pay for it. You pay for it for 4 years, a lot of money. Okay, and then you get out and you get an entry-level job and salary, right? So many people are so afraid to even contemplate spending that amount of time growing an art business. And yet every single solitary one that I see is successful has been grinding hard on their marketing for like 3 to 7 years, sometimes 10 years plus. And it's like, show me a successful artist. Show me a successful artist. I'll show you someone that's been grinding in the trenches for 10 years. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. And somehow it like clicks somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a New York City ballet dancer, And, you know, and it takes a lot of grime and, you know, things that like happens to people, and like the selfishness, the like the turmoil that makes us all beautiful artists.
Yeah.
And when you finally get there, you're like, okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
You know, in that kind of sense. And it takes a lot of pain and guilt and all those emotions. And I think being able to do and talk about that, even just here, is amazing in that kind of sense. It's like, just have to kind of spill it all out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But what did you have specifically in terms of a question? And thank you for all that feedback.
Okay. Well, anyways, as far as the question was just, yeah, as far as the safety question is that, you know, yeah, where do you go once you've reached that point where you've already been, your account has been hacked like multiple times and things like that?
Oh, we spend a lot of money on Facebook and Instagram ads, so we have people on the inside that we can actually. Yeah, okay. So we have to routinely help our customers with that problem. Facebook and Instagram is so tyrannical. Yeah. Like you can't get anyone on the phone. You can't get anyone to respond to anything. It's just super annoying. So yes, we help our customers, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, you have to turn on 2-factor authorization. Very important.
That was my question.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my, like, I'm getting like, you know, a lot of payment notifications.
Yeah, it's
that I'm just like, I don't necessarily need those.
Yeah, it's an annoying world that we live in. But you know, if it helps to have a business Instagram account too. But thank you, Julie. That's awesome. And if you're if you're an influencer, just start pitching your art.
Cost money.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. All right, Andy, you're up next, and then it'll be L Lane.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Thank you. I'm driving. Apologize for the noise.
No worries. Eyes on the road.
All right. Question real quick.
Yeah.
What would be a good way to run if I want to get a giveaway of magnets, for example?
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard you mention like the merch, right?
Yeah.
And if I give away some especially since I'm starting now, I'll give away some magnets. What would be a good way to do it on Instagram?
Yeah. So I have a podcast. You're driving, so you can't see it. So just listen, okay? I'm going to send the link to this in the follow-up email I send to all of you guys. You guys should all subscribe to it. It's really good. Over 500,000 downloads. I just checked that this morning. Actually, kind of proud of it. It's called the Art Marketing Podcast, and I have 2 episodes that talk about this. Okay, they're number 55 and number 56. 55 is titled "Smart Artists Don't Run Ads. Instead, they do this," introducing this concept called the loop. And then number 56 is how you supercharge the loop. Okay, the loop is essentially just what you suggested here, Andy. It is running a giveaway in which, you know, I'm giving away such and such. To enter, you have to give me your email address, right? And then you announce the winner. Everyone opens that email because they want to see whether or not they've won. Then for everyone that didn't win, you offer a discount on your store for, like, say 48 hours, 15% off, right? That's the loop. You do a giveaway of some kind, and it can be merch or it can be prints, it can be anything. To enter to win, you know, I have to get your email address, right? Then you announce the winner, you run a sale, and that is the circular loop. That works 100% of the time it's tried. It is a fantastic technique to grow an art or a photography business. If you look at the cost of the goods that you're giving away, printed and shipped to the customer, that is essentially the cost of your ads. Those are smarter ways to run ads than running ads on Facebook or boosting posts or anywhere else. It just works. The chicken and the egg situation, though, is how do you get it in front of enough eyeballs to actually get enough opt-ins, right? Because if you have 5 fans on Instagram, your mother, your significant other, and your neighbors, and you have 3 people on an email list, if you announce this giveaway, no one's going to see it, right? So the next episode, 56, is called Supercharging the Loop, and I teach on how, give you for instance, But I think I want you to listen to the podcast episode because that'll give you like 20-minute deep dives. Or no, it's 43 minutes. I'm looking at the episode. Like anyway, let's say that your art. Yeah, let's say your art was. I'm just gonna make something up. German Shepherds. You painted German Shepherds, right? So you're gonna go and find an account on Instagram that is centered around German Shepherds, and it could be one of these celebrity pets. Okay, or it could be like the American Kennel Club for German Shepherds or whatever, right? But you're going to go and find an account that has 50,000 to a couple of million followers on Instagram. You contact them individually, and you're like, hey, I couldn't help but notice how rad your account is. I just want to let you know I'm an artist that creates German Shepherd related art. Here's a couple of my pieces. If you ever wanted to give some of this away to your audience, I would be honored to do that because I've enjoyed your content so much. And then you shut up and you try and start a conversation with them and you get them to do it. And what ends up happening, well, just that's the concept though, right? That's how you use this hack, right? And it's essentially just advertising on Facebook and Instagram in a very, very creative way. So listen to those things and you'll be dialed in, ready to go.
Okay, and one last thing. So it's 55, 56. And then so since my store is linked to the Bay Photo print shop, so that will be only for US customers, right? Not Canada, anything like that, just US.
I would just run it and don't mention any of that. And every once in a while you get burned when the winner is from out of state, or you can put in the fine print like, look, if it's out of state, then I charge shipping, right? You could do that.
Right.
But it's better to just let it run and like, look, if you have to eat it, you have to eat it. Like, what is a magnet shipped to Canada? You're going to spend $20 or you're $25 into it. Do you know what it's cost you to run a Facebook ad? More than that, and all you're going to be doing is lighting the money on fire. So you have to look at it as a marketing expense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. All right. Next up is L Lane. Go ahead, L Lane. And I'm guessing with that background, you're a landscape photographer.
I have done landscape, but I'm going to get back into my art now because I started as an artist and then got sold on photography because I was doing realistic art and I thought, heck, I could just take a photo. So I want to get back into some art that has, a little more abstract. Anyways, I love your pitch. I love your website building. I think it's just tremendous. My curiosity is, because I've looked into I would join you in a heartbeat if I understood some of the costs associated with it. Is it okay to mention this topic right now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. So, first of all, I see that you've got these specials running all the time, like Build the Website, which is just tremendous value.
Yeah, and this week it's for life, right? Like anytime you need to update a website for the rest of your life, we will do it. So you don't even have to do it. It's amazing.
Awesome. And then I see that you also have, like, if we sell something, you get a portion of it, which is totally cool.
Yeah, we are actually eliminating that this week too.
Oh, you are?
Yep.
So then my big thing that I don't really understand is you have to buy into the program. And
so essentially the easiest way to think about it is everyone understands a website, right? You pay a monthly fee for a website. Okay, great. That part's settled. But what you don't see, it's hard to articulate. I don't think we do the best job of it. But everywhere else, you go and get a website, and once the website's done, they're like, welcome aboard, good luck. Let us know how it goes, right? With us, the minute that your website's up, your world is just beginning, okay? Because we teach you week in, week out in Zoom sessions like these, every which way imaginable, all year long, year after year after year. We are a college, essentially, that just teaches our customers how to market all year long, every single solitary year. And it's never stopped. We started it all right when COVID hit, and we have like 9 sessions a week. And so you're taught all year long how to market, what marketing initiatives we're doing, all the latest and greatest. You can ask questions, screen shares, interviewing customers, the whole thing. And that goes on all year long. And what we figured out, along the process is like, if your customers are not successful, it doesn't matter what website they have, they're canceling, right? So we realized that we had to teach them how to market, how to grow their Instagram, how to grow their Facebook, how to run live art shows, how to run sales, how to capture emails, how to have in-person shows, all of these things. And you can never stop because that is the real problem that all of you have. It's not a website. A website's a commodity in today's day and age. It just is. Ours is the best one that it is, but it's like, you could have the best restaurant in the world. If no one's in the restaurant, what difference does it make? It doesn't. You got to get diners in there, right? So that's essentially what we are. And that's what you pay for. You pay for that army of folks to support you for the rest of your art selling life.
And is there a variation in that price? Because
there's a couple of different packages in plans. So they do have some variants. Have you gotten a demo yet?
No, I thought this was a demo.
Yeah, no, this isn't the demo. Although we are running them Wednesday and Friday at this exact same time here. So if you wanted to come to one of those, you could. And then they go into all the plans, all the details, and show you the back end and like all of the things.
So you're teaching us how to market ourselves via art storefronts, and you have the connections to how to get reprints and all that made. But do you have a buying audience then that you email?
No.
Do we have access to an email list from you? No.
It wouldn't work even if you did, because it's not how art sells, right? Like, you know, they need to follow you, they need to get comfortable with you, they need to get bonded with you, and then the sales happen. Like, you know, collector lists are the biggest myth in the history of mankind. It just doesn't work. It's just not how art sells. And especially the higher up you go in price points, it's not how art sells. Like, people want to know the artist that they're buying from. They want to know the story. They want to follow them for a little while. They want to be on their email list, and then the purchase happens. And that's just how it happens in the real world.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have kind of a fun question. What's the largest dollar amount of art that has sold through your storefront?
Like an individual piece or?
Yeah. Curious.
That's a great question. I'd say probably like low to mid six figures. But what ends up happening on those big sales like that is they don't run it through the platform because they don't want to pay any of the fees. And I encourage them to do that too, by the way, right? Because if you have a deal that big, why would you want to pay any transaction fees whatsoever? And so that's how that normally goes. What's perhaps more impressive are the individual artists, though, that, you know, we have several that are well over the $1 million range that they've sold directly off the platform. So that's more exciting, right? Like the volume of transactions to be able to actually pull something like that off.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Great questions. All right. Next up is Brian B. Go ahead, Brian B.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Actually, it's funny. The other two people had the exact questions I had.
That's always how it goes. Yeah.
I have one more. Well, maybe one and a half.
Sure.
So, I'm an artist. I've gone into commercial art for the most part, but I still have some personal pieces or whatever. But I've never really tried to be an artist that sells my own work as fine art.
Okay.
Do you recommend a certain amount of art to have, a variety of pieces or whatever?
One piece, Brian. One piece. That's it.
And
so, the reason I give that advice, and don't take it cynically like you have to sign up with us, but I have for years heard about 500 different variations of "I'll just get started when." I'll just get started when I have my logo. I'll just get started when I have 10 pieces. I'll just get started when I know what my niche is. I'll just get started this, that, or the other. And then the days turn into weeks, turn into months, and no forward progress is made. My favorite line is the guy that started LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman. If you're not embarrassed by your first version, you've launched too late, right? There's never going to be a perfect number or this or that. You have to, you just get going, start hacking on it, and get on with it, right? Like, you know, you early on too, like, I hate people just creating in a vacuum without ever getting any feedback, right? Like, you don't know what's going to sell. You might already have it. It might already be a hit. It might be a dud. So don't go create 20 more duds. You might have to try different subject matter material, right? So the sooner you start getting into active marketing and get some feedback on what works for you, the more you're going to be focused in the right direction, right, towards revenue, rather than just, you know, I think this will work.
Right. So then that brings me to, you didn't mention actual price. Obviously, you probably wanted to say that during the demos or whatever. Are you in like the thousands of dollars range? You know, hundreds of dollars? Like,
Great question. So the way that it works is you pay a one-time fee to essentially get into the university. It's the easiest way to think about it. And then you just pay a monthly fee on the website hosting. And I think we have like 3 tiers of plans. And I think the cheapest that you can get in is like, don't hold me to it because they're constantly doing their package thing. Like, I think it's like $1,600 or $1,700. and then it goes up from there. But again, like, you know, the reason that we charge what we do is it's what it takes to create successful customers. If we don't have this army of people supporting you and you just have a website and that's it, you're not going to make it. You're going to fail. Like, our data is like just so conclusive on it for all the aforementioned reasons, right? You need an army of people. You need to be going through this shared mutual suffering with a group of your peers, all learning how to get better at building a business every single solitary day. And without that, it's pretty hard to do on your own, you know? You guys are all solopreneurs. You don't have a support structure. You don't, like, when you're having, like, it's such an emotional roller coaster trying to build a business like this, that what always ends up happening is the people that don't have the support, that are not like crazy ambitious or driven or just unicorns, like, when you're on a low, you quit, some time passes, then you get fired up, maybe on a little high, and then you're on a low, you quit, and the quitting is what kills everybody's business. You cannot stop. You have to stay consistent all year long, right? And when you do that, you win. So that's sort of our POV on all of it.
Well, I will say this. I do a lot of marketing, digital marketing. And the reason I even found you guys, I had a friend who was considering you guys, and he called me and he was like, should I go with them or, you know, like do a Shopify site? And I was like, look, what I glean from what they're saying, you take away the friction points of selling, and having everything in one sort of package is priceless, because I used to also do coding for Clear Channel in LA, and we had a lot of spaghetti code where it's like different. Even when you have Shopify and you do plugins, they all don't necessarily play well with each other.
No, they do not. I know.
And then everything you've said, as a marketer, I understand that you understand marketing, because there's no BS in what you've said. Like, my BS meter is like super sensitive, and I appreciate that you're very straightforward. You don't make any bones about like, hey, it's going to be a hard work, and nobody wants to tell you that.
Nobody.
You know what I mean?
Nobody. Okay, so I got one for you, right? And, you know, I've been a digital marketing guy my whole life, right? I've had multiple Shopify sites. I love Shopify. I think it's a great company. 2021 stat. How long do you think the average store lasted on Shopify?
I would say 3 months, and I'm just guessing.
You're damn close. So it's just slightly less than 5, right? And that stat comes out, and people hear that stat, and their inclination is to like somehow hang it on Shopify and blame Shopify, right? Shopify is a phenomenal product for what it is. It's not Shopify's fault. The problem is a website is not enough. A website is just a damn commodity. And everyone in their head has it like, okay, so I just launched this thing, and boom, fish just jumped in the boat. And, you know, anybody that's been in the trenches for any period of time knows how far from the truth that absolutely is. And the problem all those sites fail on Shopify is because none of them wanted to market consistently or solve the only problem. You got to get butts and seats. You know, you got to get the butts and seats.
I make websites, and I always tell people, you know, the dirty secret of websites is just because you have one doesn't mean anybody's going to come to it. There's a billion websites being made every second, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Thanks.
Awesome. And I appreciate the BS meter. I pride myself on the no BS, right? Like, you know, it takes you guys 3 to 5 years to grow anything of value in today's day and age. That was Steve Jobs' line. And he's right. He's right. And I honestly think like the right analogy is it's college. It's college. Like, if you want to have a successful art business, you have to be prepared to learn how to market the business for 4 years, no different than college. And then you get out and you start making some progress, a starting salary, but that's how long it takes. And, you know, for everyone that's like, well, I've been doing this my whole career, but you've never marketed consistently. You've never learned to market. Okay. And it's really, really hard to say that, right? Because join my magical Facebook ads formula and double revenue in 6 months. What a bunch of bullshit. There are no shortcuts. There never has been shortcuts. Deep down, we all know this, right? But no one, like, if you don't come in with the right mindset, you're going to quit. You're just going to quit, right? That's just how it works in the real world. So I really like pound into my customers' heads. And again, like, look, it's not a sprint, okay? It's not a sprint. It's not a sprint. It is this miserable thing behind me, right? And I don't want my little Zoom window's not going away. Get out of there. It probably means my computer is angry with me. Oh, it is angry with me. It's giving me like the hold on a minute. I got a computer like at the last leg. I have my brand new one on the floor. There it goes. Okay, so that's what it is, right? It's that. You guys are all on one of those. You're not on a 100-yard dash. And when you realize that, you've given yourself the permission to take the time that it needs to actually grow a real business of substance. And there is not a successful artist or photographer, guys, that you can point to that has not been going through the suffering for years. It just is what it is. You have to go through it. There's no shortcut. The beautiful thing is there are little milestones along the way where you get the dopamine hits and your gas tank gets filled up a little bit. You got a commission. You made a decent sale, right? You got featured in a magazine, whatever it is. There's little steps along the way that bolster you, but no one can quit early. And what I said earlier, that like you can check out anytime you like, the sheer number of people that I talk to where it's like, okay, you know, you're 60, you've been doing this your entire life. Why are you here asking me these questions? Why have you never worked on the marketing, right? Like we all have to go through that cycle of pain. And when you know it and you start going through it, it's miserable and it's suffering, and you learn things that you've never done before, and you're having to run sales and you're having to run discounts and you're having to market consistently and run live art shows and do all of these things. And it sucks, but it gets easier and you get better at it, right? You get better at it. So yeah, that's what I would say. But who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Can be anything about anything. All you have to do is do the digital hand raise or anything else. Brian B's back for another one. Come on.
Yeah, sorry. So, you know, me being the typical person, it's like, oh, price is always a factor.
Sure.
Do you get charged? Because I noticed when I filled out the form, you know, it was like, oh, get the site, you know, managed for free for life. It had like, are you a single artist? Are you a gallery? This, that, and the other. I'm not a gallery owner. Just want to say that I do have a friend who's an artist. Do you charge like extra if it's like two people on one thing, or
no, not at all, not at all. But the danger in that is it's a marriage, right? And if you're going to get married, you got to have all the credit checks and questions, right? Because if the two of you guys are on a site and your buddy's on your site and you're both doing it, and you're the one doing all the marketing and driving all the eyeballs, and they're not doing their portion, and they're making sales and you're not, then it starts getting into sticky situations, right? Okay. So
yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, so who's going to own it? You know, if something happens. Yeah, thank you, Andrea. Have a great rest of your day. So that's what I would say. I think.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it violated any.
No, not at all. You can do whatever the heck you want. You can honestly do whatever the heck you want. Gallery, as many artists as you want. You know, be an individual. We don't charge any differently either.
Right.
But you know, again, the whole thing is like just who's going to do that marketing, right? How's that going to work? What's that going to look like?
Also, who controls, gets the names? You know, who owns the list?
Yeah, because you own everything with us. Like, you know, we're no different than Shopify. It's like you're going to pick your domain, you're going to point it over. You know, you own all the contacts, right? It's your domain. Yeah. So if you ever decide to peace out, then, you know, it doesn't work out for you. You take all of that link juice with you, right? Like, you know.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Ray. Okay. Elaine, who owns the website Mirror Art Storefronts? You do. You own everything with us. And that's how it should be no matter where you go. I hate the concept of the artist not owning everything. Like, this is such a collector-based business, a collector-driven business, meaning if you don't know who's purchasing your work and you don't have the ability to market to them in the future, you do not have the ability to know who your collectors are going to be. And that is the death knell to an arts business, because a collector is with you for life, right? So you got to own everything. All right, Larry, you're up. I saw you guys moving the camera, so I think it's
Hi.
Team Larry.
So
right?
Sorry about all that commotion on the video.
Oh, don't worry.
I'm not Larry. I'm Larry's wife, Allison. So
Allison.
Thank you so much. We've been listening together, and we both are of an age that is older than many.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
how long have you guys been selling your art? Just out of curiosity.
Larry is the artist in the family, and he doesn't sell his art. We're just looking at the prospect of selling his art.
Got it.
And I've learned about art storefronts on Facebook, and he's done some research, and he's watched a couple of the podcasts, I think, haven't you?
Yeah.
And and he's attended a couple of these Zooms. Anyway, the question that I have, and I appreciate all the information and the questions you've had today, and so does Larry, but on my Facebook page right in front of me is a reminder ad saying artists who join this week get free social media management, website setup, and management for life. And then it says, tell me more. And then at the top, it says, join 8,500 plus artists and photographers that are letting us take care of the tech burden of their websites and so on and so forth. He had tried to fill in that information for a demo a few weeks ago and never had a response.
Okay.
So my question is this ad that I'm seeing on Facebook, which just came up fresh today, accurate? And I think that Brian, who spoke just a minute ago, maybe has something similar to that, but I'm not positive because we were having calamity here. And is there something that you can explain to me about what that ad is saying and if it's accurate?
Yes, the ad is accurate. Aside from the 8,500 customer part, we actually have 11,000 plus customers now. So it's the way that ads work, though. If you have an ad that's working, you don't touch it, right? It's kind of like a car that's running. Like, don't touch it. Let that thing keep going. It's working because that's how advertising works. So what I haven't shared today is in March, we launched our newest product, okay? And the product is called Copilot. And you know that saying, like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink? That's the biggest problem that we've had in the history of this business, meaning we have this calendar that tells you what to do 365 days a year, right? And let's say a big sale was coming up. Let's say it was the Prime Day sale, right, that just happened. And I would put the playbooks on the calendar and I'd say, this is what we're doing, guys. I would put it on the calendar. Here's when we're going to send our emails. Here's where we're going to do our Instagram post. Here's where we're going to do our Facebook post. Here's what days all that stuff's going to happen. Here's the discount that we're going to do. And then we would have a Zoom session and we would go over it, right? We would go over all the steps and all the things that we were going to do for the sale. And then I'd ask my customers, do you guys have everything you need? And you know what I would get? I would get a bunch of yes. I would be like, yeah, Patrick, got everything I need. We're going to do it. And then I would audit them. And not everybody would do everything. In fact, most people would not do everything. And the conundrum there is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? And there's a whole myriad of issues why even my customers would not go through with all of this stuff. Tech issues, not wanting to be salesy, lacking the courage of their conviction, right? All nonsense. So in March, we launched Copilot. What we realized is, okay, wait a minute. We have all of our customers' images up on a website. We can control their site, i.e. we can create pages, remove pages, put in discount codes, remove discount codes, change things, all of that. We have their entire email list. Let's just integrate to their Instagram page and their Facebook account, and we'll start running the sales for them. And so we've been running that since March. I think we have, I don't know our updated numbers, right? Maybe like 2,500 of my customers are on it right now. And we have been doing the marketing on their behalf. Now, if you were on the call earlier, I said marketing is like 50-50, or art sales are like 50-50. 50% the art, right? And then 50% the artist. So the marketing that we can do right now is the art. The marketing we can't do is the artist, right? Who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you interesting, videos of your process, what goes about in your day-to-day life. And so that's where we are on the entire thing currently. And I think the deal that ad is referencing is mentioning Copilot. So that's the one piece that I haven't spoken about today. But I will find out. I will find out why no one's contacted you. And I have your email address. Hold on, I'm just going to put it in the. I have this like little comms channel. So
that's great. Well,
Larry, spell your last name for me. Larry.
F-A-R-H-N-E-R.
HNER.
Did you get that, Patrick?
Yeah. Yep. Filled out a demo
Great.
form and never heard back. I will make sure somebody calls you guys though to follow up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I don't talk a whole bunch about Copilot yet. Although, again, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Turns out, oftentimes, you guys are your own worst enemies, right? Like the marketing and sales is just like such a foreign concept to you guys. You don't want to do it. You're scared to use the language. You think everyone sees every Instagram post that you do. And then, the sale comes along and you don't run it. You don't run it to completion. And it's a huge, huge issue. So the reason that we did so well last week, and we set an all-time record for the entire, did I talk about this at the beginning? I don't know if I did. If I didn't, I think I did. We set an all-time record in terms of the number of transactions on the platform that we've ever done. And it's because we had our customers run a Prime Day sale, because Amazon was running a Prime Day sale. When others run sales, you run sales. It's a great opportunity to do so. And because Copilot was running, everyone that was on that service, instead of a normal sale where you phone it in, you send one email and you do one Facebook post, they sent 6 emails and 45 social media posts. And guess what? It turns out when you do that effectively, you actually win. So I'm excited to see where that whole thing goes. And, obviously we're rolling it out here in Q4, which is the greatest time to be selling art, period. In the next 3 months, it's essentially like a 5x multiple of art sales throughout the course of the year. Like somewhere in the spring is regular baseline sales 1x. By the time you get to Q4, it's 5x. So 5 times the amount of art is sold at the end of the year, and it's because everyone's in the buying mode. We live in a advertising-driven, dopamine-inducing culture here in North America, and everyone can take advantage of it. Just the credit cards are out in Q4. That's just how it goes. But okay, who else, guys? Questions? Is another note. The whole session was recorded today. I'm going to be sending it to you. All the links that I mentioned in the recorded presentation point, I'm going to be sending those to you. So you can go ahead and inspect that and go through all that and get to the bottom of that, or go back and watch something that you missed if you are so inclined. And then, as I said, crazy deal this week ends on Friday. So normally we build the website for everyone. So we do that, period, now. But what we don't do is we don't maintain the thing for life. And that's not just included. And we're throwing it in. It's only the second time, I believe, that we've done this, and that ends on Friday. So it's a very, very good deal. So if you guys are on the fence, that might be something to help tip you over. For everyone else, if you're not ready, don't worry. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here, okay? We'll be here for years and years and years. But yeah, that's what I got. Guys, any final questions, comments, concerns? Can be anything about anything? Otherwise, we'll wrap up today's session, and I'll get that email out to you guys in short order. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is coming, guys. You got to let people know you exist, and then you got to let them know a sale is coming, and then you got to run a sale. And if you wake up the morning before Thanksgiving and you're reminded that you need to do this, it is way too late. It is way too late. So that's what I would say. And I definitely want you guys all to subscribe to the podcast. I'm telling you, it's good. The latest and greatest goes on there. I just did an episode yesterday on how to find, I released it today, actually, how to find collectors for your art business. That's a very good one. I want you guys all listening to it. It's free. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts, Acast, Aweber, Overcast. It's on all of them. You can find it anywhere. And even if you don't have an app to listen to podcasts, you can find it on YouTube too. So you can watch it that way as well. So, all right. We'll leave it there, guys. I appreciate all of you. I want you all to have a wonderful week. And let's get going. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is coming. All right? Big, big art selling days.